Was the NHL lockout. They met yesterday for the last time before they're actually scheduled to be locked out on Saturday. The owners around the league unanimously voted yesterday to approve the lockout as of Saturday at midnight. And as a show of solidarity, 283 players, including all the big names, Lundqvist, Crosby, Malkin, Ovechkin, everybody, 283 players showed up to the meeting yesterday in a show of solidarity. So apparently the players aren't really budging. The players are saying, listen, the deal we had in place already worked. Why don't we just kind of re-up that deal? The owners are saying, no, well, we want to cut it back. They want to cut it back to, I think the players right now share 57% of the revenue, and the owners want to cut it back to 46%, which I think they've since come up from, and now it's at like 49%. Whatever the deal is, it's just, owners being greedy, players not wanting to budge. And unfortunately, it looks like another lockout for the NHL, which would be, like we were talking about the other day,
well,
4 times in 20 years?
I actually have those notes with me. All right, this is exactly what the NHL has done. If this is number 4, this would be number 4 since 1992. They had an 11-day strike in April of 92, caused 30 games to be postponed, and then a 103-day lockout in 1994-95 that caused the cancellation of 468 games and delayed the start of the season until January 20th. And then 2004 lockout started September 16th, which would be pretty much the same date this lockout would start, when training camps were actually set to open, same as this year. And then that wasn't actually settled until July 13th. So it was...
if the NHL misses any time, it's going to be... It's going to be deadly for them. It could be a death blow. It could be... You can only get knocked down so many times before you get back, before you stop getting up. And I think the NHL's about at that point here. They've got to come to a long-term agreement. They have to come to a 10-year agreement, which is something that I guess the players and the owners aren't willing to do because they just had a lockout 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, and that's just, it's a little ridiculous to me because I think the owners do not understand to me, if you're an owner, you got to look at this as the long-term investment. You may be giving the players more now, but in the long run, if you keep this league going and you keep the games coming and you keep the fans happy, you're going to get return on your investment and make the money that you want to make. Hockey had the ability after this last playoffs to grow. They had it. They had the opportunity. They had the chance. And instead, they're looking at a lockout starting Saturday that you don't know how long is going to last. And if it happens, every fan, especially the ones that dealt with the past 3 lockouts, the real fans of hockey, how many of them are you going to lose? How many of them are going to be like, I can't deal with this crap anymore?
The diehards are always going to be the diehards, so I don't think they're necessarily going to lose the diehards. But the thing is that in the U.S., there aren't a whole lot of diehards left. There just aren't. It's the 4th sport in the U.S., really. It's, behind basketball, it's behind football, it's behind baseball. And I don't see the casual fan coming back this time. Or if they do, it's going to take a lot for them to come back, or a long time for them to come back.
You know what? And Yost puts in our chat room, who cares about hockey keeping in Canada? I'm sorry. If you didn't get a chance to watch last year's NHL playoffs, you really, really missed out. I'm sorry. I understand if you're not a fan of the game of hockey, but last year's playoffs were a lot of freaking fun to watch. The Devils-Kings series was a lot of fun to watch. The Devils-Rangers, Philadelphia. They were a lot of fun. There was a lot of good series to watch last night and a lot of fun to watch. And in my opinion, I think hockey's a big deal. Fife throws in our chat room something that I did not know, in saying that hockey is actually one of the fastest growing sports at the youth level. And I did not know that. And if that's true, that's actually,
it's true until another lockout hits, and then all of a sudden,
all the kids are watching basketball and watching football instead of watching hockey.
They won't be watching hockey, and then all of a sudden their interests go from that to something else.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, it drives me nuts that they're so ignorant about this. Like this is now the third year in a row that sports fans had to watch crap like this. 3 years ago, you got the NFL. 2 years ago, it's the NFL. Last year, you got the NBA, and now this year, you've got NHL.
Pretty soon, it'll be baseball.
And then baseball's coming up next. It's just a little ridiculous.